Hi, I'm Jen Welby-Gilbert, founder of the Giving Project for Children, and I'm here today with you for another Tip Tuesday. Last week, we focused on how to teach your children about racism and what's going on in the country. We got some great feedback and great requests. And what I found that the parents really wanted as we moved forward was a little bit more clarification on step 2 of our 3-step method. Again, to review, our 3-step method is talk to your child, read to your child, and act with your child. And last week, we really focused on that talk portion. And then I provided you with some resources for the other two, particularly in the comments. So I wanted to kind of focus on that this week. When you're talking about reading to your child about racism and what's currently going on in the country, I think there's 3 things that we need to focus on. We need to talk about books that teach anti-racism, books that provide diverse literature, and adult books. So those are kind of the 3 avenues that we're going to focus on today during our tip. First, anti-racism books. I've been trying to focus some anti-racism books on our read alouds throughout the week. And I think another great place to start is a book about racism, which is on YouTube, and the author actually reads the book to you. This is a great jumping off point or a great place to continue your conversation with your child. I would say anywhere from pre-K through 5th grade. Maybe if you have a more immature pre-K kid, it's not a great idea. But even with 4th and 5th graders, you can still read this book and have a conversation, even though it's pretty basic. Other anti-racism books might be, last week we featured Henry's Freedom Box and the Let the Children March, and Moses is another really great one, When Harriet Tubman Led Her People to Freedom. So anything that really talks about slavery or racism or kind of how we got here is a great thing to read regarding an anti-racism book. Regarding diverse literature, basically the point is to show kiddos that every child in the book doesn't have to look the same, that every child in the book doesn't look like them, and to show other children that there are kids like them in books. So some of the great diverse literature, Little Melba and Her Trombone, isn't necessarily a book about racism or anti-racism, although it does kind of touch on the struggles that she has, but it's a story about a little girl who plays trombone. But what you'll see is that we don't just have a whitewashed book here. So you see a very rich African-American characters here, and more like real life. So you've got that. The Day You Begin is a great book. And even so far as The Water Princess is a really great book. Again, we're not talking about African Americans, but showing that kids look different. Ruth and the Green Book is a great book. And then not just talking about African American diversity, but talking about all kinds of diversity. So we've got Ruby's Wish and I Am Jazz and Nemo Rescues the World. So these are just a couple that I grabbed off my kiddos' bookshelf. But again, showing them that everything doesn't always just look white. And white male. We have a white male protagonist problem in children's literature. And so I think that this is a really great time that we can kind of look inside and say, what do we have on our bookshelves and how do we make sure that we're being more inclusive in all ways? And particularly with African American literature. When finding these books, I mean, the good thing is that this has really made everyone under the sun try to spotlight our anti-racism books and our diverse literature. So you can go to your local bookstore. Our local bookstore, Children's Book World here in Bryn Mawr, put out a great list of books, and you can purchase them online and they can be shipped right to your home. Our local libraries are just starting to open up for curbside pickup. I know I work with the Gladwin Free Library, and we have a list of books, and our librarians are willing to pull books for you that focus on these topics and show diverse literature. And honestly, you can go to pretty much any website that you read, and I bet that you can find a list of diverse literature or anti-racism children's books, whether it's NPR or the Washington Post or Common Sense Media or Parents or Today or Good Morning America even has a list. And that way you can kind of go where you're comfortable and choose books from there. be wary. Amazon is out of a lot of these books because it just shows you that publishers we don't keep a lot of these books in stock. They're not usually the most popular books. So you may find that you have to go, deeper down on that list, and you may find some great things. So I would again say, honestly, just a quick Google search will find you some great things. Just to put this out there, a little plug for one of my favorite illustrators, Kadir Nelson, Kadir, Kadir Nelson. He's come to our school a couple times as an author, illustrator in residence, and he is just phenomenal. So basically, if you find any Kadir Nelson book, it's going to be a great way to show diverse characters. He draws beautiful, beautiful illustrations. So he's a great place to kind of look towards. Now, the third aspect is adult books. What do we read? What do we read? What should we be reading? And again, just a quick Google search will get you, kind of where you might want to start. NPR, which I'll link to in our comments, has a really, really great list of books to go to. I know as far as being a teacher, one of the ones that really touched me, and this was years ago, was Why Are All the Black Kids Sitting Together in the Cafeteria? It's a phenomenal book by Beverly Daniel Tatum. And another really great book is White Fragility. And that is another great place to start doing the work. So I think that you're in a great place. If you've made it this far in the video, then you are trying to do the work. You're trying to supply your child with a wealth of resources. You're trying to better yourself as a human so that when these kids grow up, we hopefully won't be dealing with this again. Because by that point, hopefully, we will have righted our wrongs. And as a great professor of mine once said, history shines on the sides of human rights. It may take a while, but we'll get there. So evaluate yourself and what you are doing and continue to have these conversations. And I'm proud of you. And it is not easy in the midst of everything else we're dealing with. But keep doing the work. Try to stay safe, stay sane. Let me know how I can help, and have a great day.